What's up, gamers? Welcome to a new video. I'm going to be doing something very different, something I probably won't do ever again, but I'm interested enough in this to share this small tutorial as well as some other things that might help you out. I am on version 1.20.30 on Minecraft Bedrock, and I'm going to be showing you how to do something super basic, buying or selling land or claiming land using these sets of command blocks. I've looked all over the internet and I haven't been able to find anything like this. The premise is very simple. In an adventure world, a survival world, you can set a certain area to creative or survival or whatever you want using these sets of command blocks. In this example, I'm in adventure mode, and this area will set me into survival if I own the land. And as you can see, I don't own the land. It's on the buy slot. I can't sell it. I have 2,000 money here. If I go into the area, I'm still in adventure mode, but as soon as I press this button, and whenever I go into this area, it'll set me into survival mode. And once I leave the area, give it a few ticks, and it'll set me back into adventure mode. And once I enter the area and into survival mode, whenever I exit the area, it'll put me in adventure mode. Now, it may take some time to get the person you're trying to, or yourself, in and out of this area. It may take some time to put yourself back into adventure mode. That just totally depends on the ticks that you put the adventure mode command block on, and I'll show you that in a moment. Now, if I sell, it'll say land sold. It will put the money back into my account, as you can see on the right, and whenever I go into the area, I'm in adventure mode. I haven't seen anyone else do this on YouTube, and I thought it'd be super helpful because I've tried to look for some sort of YouTube video or something, specifically YouTube video, because they're super helpful. Some sort of YouTube video that would show me how to get this exact thing that I wanted. This tutorial should help you get the absolute basics down, and you can add and get rid of it. But you're going to need a few things for this, specifically some sort of basic knowledge of command blocks. Nothing crazy. If you copy these exact things that I have here and the commands that I'll show you, it should do exactly what I have here. So first, you can see this command block here that says buy land 1000. The simplest way to get that to pop up over here, go ahead and put on the top left over here the hover note, what you want your buy land. You could do claim land, you could do buy land. This is the first command: scoreboard players test at money 1000, and that little fucking asterisk thing right there. Money is not a command, it is a scoreboard objective that I have added to the game, and you can do that simply by going here. Here's the command right here: scoreboard objectives add money dummy. Whatever you put in those quotes right there will be the name of the scoreboard. So you're going to have to put that exact same punctuation and everything right where it says money on my screen. Then you can do 1000, you can do whatever. The reason I put that little asterisk right there is because if I don't put an asterisk, it will put my account into negative. And if you don't want it to go into negative, if you do want it to go negative, just delete that. If you don't want it to go into negative, put that asterisk right there. Now the next one, these two are kind of optional. The way I do it is I have two different columns of command blocks, and this one will fill this block right here with air. To delete that stone button, and this one will fill this block right here on top of this one with a stone button. If you want to look at this right here, this says fill the coordinates and then air. That'll fill this exact coordinates you can see on the top left with air. This stone button will fill this coordinate right here with a button. And if you want to learn about the stone buttons, then the facing direction stuff that I have right there. The reason I do one is because it'll put the button facing down onto the block that I do. If you just do stone button, it'll just break itself. So you want to face that button down. But that's not really why you're here. For this one, because I'm using the scoreboard of money, whenever someone buys this land, I want to remove that money. So this block right here will scoreboard players remove at player money 1000. So instead of testing, it will remove the closest player's money and 1000. You don't need an asterisk because this block will test if that player has 1000. If they don't have 1000, it won't activate the next of these or the rest of these. And make sure every single one of these command blocks that are chained right here are on conditional right here. You can see unconditional and conditional. The reason I do it on conditional is because if I press this button and I leave it on unconditional, all the blocks will do, even without them having 1000 or not. So that's specifically what I do. You can, of course, change that however you want, but for me, that's what I do. Now, the next one is claim set. It will set another scoreboard, which I've made, to 1, and that's very important. Or you're going to want to do this. You're going to want to make a second scoreboard objective and call that whatever you want. Same thing, you can call it whatever you want, but it has to be matching right here. The reason I'm setting this to 1 is because this command block and this command block, later on I'll show you that, this command block will not activate unless you have 1 scoreboard on that claim. The reason we do scoreboards is very complicated. Minecraft stuff, don't you even worry about it. Just copy what I've got going on and trust me, it'll work. So the next one, you're going to do tag set, and the reason I do tag And the reason we're setting another tag to someone, and we've already got the claim, but we need a tag too because of something that I'll tell you later. But trust me, we'll come back to that and you'll understand. And then title, you saw whenever I pressed the button, it said land purchased. That's exactly what this one will do. It'll just display that message on my tab, and you can put that again. You can put that whatever you want. You can change it up. Now this next one, whenever you press this button, it'll fill this block with air, fill this one with a stone block, and then whenever the player wants to, they can sell this land. And I'll get to this because this is more important for now. So the first thing, these two are very important. These are probably required when it comes to setting a certain area to survival, or whatever you want, adventure mode, survival, whatever you want. If you want the players to be set to a certain area. The problem that I faced was people could tell me how to set this area to survival or to creative, but no one was telling me how to set the rest of the world, because once you go in, it'll set you survival, but once you go out, it won't set you back. So this is what this block is for here. This one will be on repeat and always active, and it'll just set the game mode to, this will set all players to adventure mode. So, and this is doing this every 150 ticks. This is very important when it comes to trying to set this area to a certain mode and then the rest to a different mode. So this is super duper important here. This one is setting the game mode, and of course in that area, and that's what all that X, the Y, the Z, the DX, the DY, the DZ, all of that. That is basically the area that I'm setting, and also the tag. So everything within those brackets will be set into survival mode. So that's the area and also the tag. So the reason that I add the tag is because originally, if you don't have this tag on, anyone inside of this area will be set into survival. So anyone who walks in, so see, let's look at the block here. Anyone inside this area, X, Y, Z, DX, DY, DZ, anyone inside that area, so it says all players in that area will be set to survival. So I add the tag equals claim. So whenever you press this button, it'll add the tag for you. So that way you have access to that area. Now the way to find these coordinates, now you can see we have 4, negative 1,000, and 10. So the reason I do 4 is right here on this corner of the area. I've got 4, 10 on the top left, and I do negative 1,000 because the middle coordinate is height, basically, if you don't know about coordinates, but it's the up and down coordinates. So I set that into a negative 1,000. So no matter where you are in height of this area, you can always set that to whatever you want. But for me, whatever height you're in, since I'm negative 52, I am within that range of negative 1,000. And then if I bring this over, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, this is 8 blocks this way, and then negative 8 blocks this way. This is the X, the Y, and the Z are the original coordinates on the bottom left corner, and the DX, DY, and DZ, so that's distance X, distance Y, and distance Z. So distance X was the negative 8 this way, so the 4 to the negative 4, that's within distance of negative 8, and then for the Z, it was 10 plus 8, so we do the DX, negative 8, and we do the DZ 8. So anyone within that area with the tag that you get by pressing this button will be set to claim, and then you'll be able to access that area. Now, the reason you want this to be the first block on the buy is because the way that I'm using it, as I'm using the scoreboard of money, you want the scoreboard players test to have $1,000, and so once they have it, it'll set that area to air, set the button, remove the money from your account, set your scoreboard claim to 1, set the tag to, this will add a tag claim to you. This one will set the title on your screen, and then you're able to access the area. Now, back to the adventure block here. The reason we set this one to 150, you can set that to whatever you want. Any lower tick rate you do, the faster this command block will activate. So this one is at 0, so every tick that a person is inside of this, it'll set them to survival, but occasionally every 150 ticks, it'll set everyone nearby to 150. So whenever they leave the area, after 150 ticks, it should set them to adventure mode. So now comes the second column. This is how you remove the claim from the person in this area, so they will no longer be able to have access to this area. We look here. This is why the claim set score was important, is we're testing if you have the claim 1, so no one else can come up and just click this and now remove your land or remove their land or remove that tag from them. So only the person who has bought this land can sell the land. So this will test if you have the claim 1. See, this one sets the claim This one sets the claim to 1, and then this one sets the claim to 0. So whenever anyone spawns into the game, that claim will always be automatically set to 0. So no random person can just come up and click that button. Now, of course, you have the air. This one will set this one to air, and then this one will add the stone button back over here. Then we have add money. So this one is selling the land for back 1,000 just straight up. So whenever you press this button, it'll add that 1,000 score back into the scoreboard. It'll set the claim to 0 now, so that way you can buy this land back again. You can't buy, I believe you can buy this again if you do have your claim set to 1, but it won't really matter. They'll just be wasting money and have the same effect to them. It won't really matter. So this one will set it back to 0, so they can come back and buy this if they want to. This will set the tag to remove that tag, so that whenever they sell that land back, they won't be able to go into survival once they go into this area. And lastly, of course, the title. This one just says land sold. And all of that together will do the following. It will press this button, remove 1,000 from my right, allow this area, and add the tag claim to me. And now whenever I go into the area, I'm into survival. And once I leave the area after 150 ticks, it'll set me into adventure mode. And whenever I'm done with this land, I don't want it anymore, I press this button to sell it. It adds the money back to my account, and once I go into this area, I can no longer go into survival mode. Now, if you don't want this to work on a scoreboard, so let's say you don't want this to work on money or any sort of score that the player can see, you can always set this one to your own custom tests, and you don't have to remove the air, the button, the money, or anything like that. But you definitely need to set this tag to whatever you want, so that way whenever they go into this area, it'll set that tag to that tag. I believe that's it. If I missed anything, please let me know in the comments, or DM me or PM me, or however you can contact me. I'm always available and will ask any questions. If this does not work for you, I will gladly help you figure this out. This only works for 1.2.0.30. Any future updates, there's always updating the game and changing all their commands and shit. So this is how that'll work. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing and liking, and